Everybody. Good afternoon, everybody.
1 o'clock, good for you.
Yep.
Half runs on time.
Good afternoon. The board meeting of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and its component units is now being called to order. Today's in-person meeting is also being held virtual via teleconference with the proceedings live streamed from the Port Authority website. On May 9th, the Committee on Security met in executive session. Earlier today, the Committee on Operations and the Committee on Capital Planning, Execution, and Asset Management met in executive. The Commissioners also met in executive earlier today to discuss matters related to security, public safety, law enforcement, matters related to the purchase, sale, or lease of real property where disclosure would affect the value thereof or the public interest, matters related to personnel or personnel procedures, and matters involving ongoing negotiations or reviews of contracts or proposals. I want to start this meeting on a somber note, a moment of silence to a member of the Port Authority staff who passed away recently. Last week, we lost our friend, Ronald Regine, a tunnel and bridge agent at the Holland Tunnel, who had served for the last 8 years. I now ask everybody to stand for a moment of silence for Roger. Thank you. Moving ahead, we are joined today by several of our friends and representatives from one of our longstanding aviation partners, Delta, which I am told 100 years ago started as a crop dusting airline. Is that true? And I want to hear every bit of that. Interesting detail. They've literally recently celebrating their 100th milestone, and we're going to ask our executive director to say a few words before we present a plaque commemorating this very auspicious and wonderful anniversary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I must say that the Port Authority has had experience with 100th anniversaries. We had one of our own a few years ago, and we were very proud of that, and we understand why Delta is proud of its 100th anniversary. And we're happy to recognize Delta, the first U.S. airline, I believe, to reach a centennial, a milestone that reflects both endurance and excellence. And we're here to congratulate Delta, to recognize them, and to thank them for their partnership. Delta has been a true partner across the board, not only building new world-class facilities and investing, by my count, over the last 8 or 9 years, $5 billion. I may be off by $1 or $2, but that's the rough magnitude, and we're grateful for that, grateful for the partnership. Your CEO, Ed Bastian, has been a true partner as well, and obviously an excellent leader, and really delighted that this contingent of Delta executives have come, led by Ryan Marzullo and Patty Ornst, who we have worked with very, very closely over the last period of time. So really pleased to say thank you publicly to Delta, to all of you, and delighted to present a plaque in honor of the 100th anniversary. So with that, Mr. Chairman.
And before we get up, and I'm going to ask all the commissioners to join me and with Rick as the vice chair is going to present the plaque to the Delta reps. Do we have a rep who want to get up and just talk about Delta and talk about how important it is and tell us that you are the Port Authority's favorite airline or something along those lines?
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you. My name's Adam Ryan. I'm the Vice President of Airport Operations for LaGuardia, Boston Logan, and the Northeast region here at Delta Airlines. It's an honor to be representing Delta with you today. And thank you to the Port Authority team members for having us here as well. And thank you, Board Chair Mr. O'Toole, and Vice Chair Mr. Linford, and Rick Cotton, Executive Director, and all the Port Authority board members for the great partnership and working with us side by side, really to build and transform the travel experience in New York and New Jersey. It's hard to believe that 100 years ago, Delta began as a crop dusting company, as you alluded to, and today now recognized as a premium global brand, serving over 200 million customers annually to nearly 300 destinations across the globe. Today from New York, we serve approximately 150 nonstop destinations with 600 daily flights. employing nearly 7,000 New Yorkers and almost 1,000 New Jerseyans that take care of our customers and are committed to the communities we live, serve, and work in. It may go without saying, but we're really grateful for the partnership we've had with the port, and specifically the work that's gone into LaGuardia's redevelopment and now going on with our JFK projects. We're extremely honored to serve the region for the last period of time, serving Newark since 1946, LaGuardia since 1945, and JFK since 1957. That's over 225 years of combined operations for these three major airports in the region. With state-of-the-art facilities, exciting new routes, and deep connections to the community, Delta Airlines is committed to Newark, LaGuardia, and JFK now more than ever. I'm also proud to share that our joint efforts to make transformative investments in LaGuardia, an unprecedented $2 billion was given to contracts for minority and women-owned businesses in Queens. Additionally, local businesses received $800 million in contracts toward our shared infrastructure investments. Including the investments we've made in New York City, over $12 billion in the past decade have been invested in airports across the country, cementing our commitment to improving the travel experience for our customers across the globe. As we work together to shape our next century of flight, we're doing so with the most important people in mind, our customers. We know the ground experience for our customers is just as important as it is when they're at 30,000 feet, which is why we continue and invest in these premium experiences that are second to none. As we celebrate reaching 100 years in service, we use this customer-centric focus and momentum to fuel our climb into the next century. Thank you again for having my colleagues and I here today and for honoring our centennial, and we look forward to the next century of flight in this great region. Thank you.
Before we pass on this plaque, which the Vice Chair will present and read, just pass on to the folks at home office. We are delighted with the relationship. Couldn't be more grateful and gratified for having a wonderful partner. And keep up the great work. And if there's anything you need, we're here. We stand ready, and we appreciate all the faith you have in us. I think the partnership's working. So if I can ask the commissioners to join us.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, first we're going to take a picture. Why don't you read it there, Vice Chair?
Celebrating 100 years presented to Delta, commemorating Delta Airlines' 100th anniversary and sharing our legacy in shaping modern air travel. Give this to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty.
Everyone look up here.
You good?
Everyone over here? All right, 3, 2, 1. Sorry, sir. I will see you a little bit closer. That's probably perfect. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. I think it's a good thing all the commissioners do. I know it's not, in the past, they would have just the chair and ED.
That's very nice.
Don't you think?
Absolutely.
All righty. No, sorry. Next up, we have, we're going to hear from our Director of Aviation, Sarah McKeon. Jim, are you going to join or just have Sarah? I don't think she needs your help then. Sarah will provide an update on behalf of regarding the FAA equipment and staffing issues. And Jim or Aiden, if you want to jump in after the fact, that's fine too. Sarah, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman O'Toole. And before I start, and members of the board, thank you. Before I start, congratulations to Delta. Really looking forward to continuing our partnership. So on to more somber topics. You're all aware, I'm sure, that since April, Newark Liberty International Airport has experienced significant operational disruptions due to Federal Aviation, or FAA, staffing and equipment challenges, which has impacted thousands of customers. These disruptions are largely due to decades of underinvestment in the air traffic control system by the federal government. These issues came to a head in late April this year. Over the past month, there have been over 2,000 canceled flights and nearly 7,000 delays that average 2 hours in duration at Newark. Since then, the Port Authority has supported the FAA in its work with the airlines to optimize operations at Newark Liberty. As an agency, we are committed to ensuring that Newark is a world-class airport, as evidenced by our recent investment of nearly $3 billion in Newark's new Terminal A and our upcoming replacement of the Newark Liberty AirTrain. The Port Authority's goal is for Newark to operate at its full capacity. We understand the challenges facing the FAA and continue to support their efforts in alignment with this goal. So first, to set the stage, this diagram on the, we can go back to the prior slide, thank you. To set the stage, this diagram depicts an aircraft's air traffic control journey, which consists of 3 main touch points. First, the control tower, which is local to the airport, the terminal radar control facility, also known as a TRACON, and the Air Route Traffic Control Center. The impacts we'll discuss here stem from staffing and technology challenges at the TRACON facility. The TRACON is part of the air traffic control system that communicates with aircraft as they ascend and descend from and to airports, ensuring the safe separation from other aircraft. Next. The FAA's Long Island TRACON, you can go to the next slide, please. The FAA's Long Island TRACON has long suffered from chronic staffing retention issues. To address these, the FAA relocated the control center for Newark's airspace from Long Island to the Philadelphia TRACON in July of 2024. However, staffing challenges have persisted after the relocation, resulting in significant operational disruptions. According to the FAA, the part of the Philadelphia TRACON that manages Newark's airspace is currently 63% staffed. These staffing issues are exacerbated by technology failures, including the 90-second loss of communications and radar imaging on April 28th. Taken together, these issues have resulted in significant problems for customers at Newark. On particularly bad days in the past month, there have been over 230 cancellations and 470 delays at the airport. The Port Authority has responded to these operational challenges by ensuring clear and consistent communications to passengers about operational challenges. We have provided support to the terminal operators by dispatching additional staff in the terminals to provide customer support in real time. And we have worked with the airlines to ensure that they are providing timely notifications to passengers whose flights are impacted. Because of these operational challenges, go next. Thank you. Because of these operational challenges, the FAA conducted meetings the week of May 12th in Washington, D.C. with the airlines and the Port Authority, which resulted in an FAA-issued order on May 20th, reducing Newark's operational rate from 77 operations per hour to a significantly reduced level of 56 per hour through June 15th. After June 15th, the rate will increase to 68 operations per hour through October 25th. This reduced operational rate at Newark, as mandated by the FAA, will have some unavoidable impacts to customers. That said, we fully understand the challenges that the FAA is facing and that these challenges necessitate this reduction as a temporary measure. The Port Authority applauds and supports the FAA's efforts to restore Newark to its full operational capacity. In recent years, the Port Authority has made transformational investments in Newark, turning Terminal A into a Skytrax 5-star terminal and laying out a vision for our reimagined airport, including a new AirTrain and Terminal B. We're committed to turning it into a vibrant, modern hub that delivers for customers and the regional economy. We continue to look for ways to continue supporting the FAA in mitigating and improving the air traffic control system throughout the country and in the Port Authority's airports, airspace in particular. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Any follow-up? And we've been getting daily briefings from Sarah and Aiden and Jim Heitman, and very much appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. At this time, we ask to hear from our Executive Director for his monthly report. Rick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will begin by again thanking the employees and staff of the Port Authority. As I try to do each month, we recognize that the agency could not carry out its work without not only your dedication and your hard work, but your extensive enthusiasm and skill in operating the agency on a day-to-day basis. I also want to express gratitude for the hard work of our represented employees, and to the leadership of the 23 unions who represent them. I want to begin my report today just by turning to the volumes of our facilities. April 2025 for the region's 3 major airports was their 3rd busiest April in the agency's history. It was a 2% decline from last April, which was the busiest April in the agency's history, with Newark volumes accounting for nearly all of that decline from April 2024. Despite reduced volumes from April of last year, international passenger volumes increased by 10% from March of 2025. At the seaport, it continued its strong performance, with April 25 outpacing April 24 by 6% and exceeding the pre-pandemic levels in April of 2029 by a full 24%. Month over month versus March 2025, April saw a reduction in cargo values on a month-to-month basis by 4%. And turning now to the bridges and tunnels, traffic in April 2025 on the agency's 4 bridges and 2 tunnels was nearly flat compared to April 2024. To be specific, it was 0.4% below April 24. Direct comparisons between 24 and 25 traffic intended to try to segregate the impacts of weather, economic outlook, congestion charging remain difficult, particularly as the month-to-month differences have grown smaller. At PATH, ridership in April 25 was 74% of pre-pandemic April 2019 levels, but it grew 10% over April 2024, and year-to-year, April 25 versus March was increased by 5%. Weekend PATH ridership continues to show strength and has consistently been above pre-pandemic levels for the last 6 months. Another challenge that our airports dealt with in the course of last month was the beginning of the Real ID rollout. The TSA began enforcing the nationwide requirement that all domestic air passengers have Real ID compliant identification in order to fly. In preparation for the rollout of this requirement, the Port Authority worked extensively with TSA and with its airline passengers partners to communicate the requirement to passengers and to staff in ways that would allow us to mitigate any crowding at security checkpoints. In addition to TSA staffing, the Port Authority provided volunteers at the checkpoints to facilitate the movement of passengers and answer questions about the requirement. As a result of the focus by all agencies involved, the rollout at our airports caused minimal disruptions for passengers and no operational impacts. The Port Authority has also taken multiple steps to implement its net zero ambitions. This summer, we instituted a pricing policy to establish a marketplace to charge consumers for the use of the agency's current 175 electric vehicle charging stations that are open to the public. The charging rate will be based on kilowatt hours of use and is anticipated to primarily cover operating expenses associated with the chargers. We installed the first public electric vehicle fast chargers at Port Newark as we seek to incentivize truck drivers to acquire electric vehicles, a significant step towards the general electrification of vehicles at the seaport. I want to take one particular note of an award that our World Trade Center Division won. On April 7th, CMS Wire, the world's leading community of digital customer experience professionals, named the World Trade Center as its gold winner of its Customer Journey Innovation Award. This award recognizes the innovative approach deployed by the World Trade Center to guide visitors to points of interest around the campus. The World Trade Center Department developed a unique navigation system visitors can access through using their phones. The system overlays navigation elements onto real-world images, giving simple and efficient directions. The department plans to expand the program to other outdoor locations in the near future. With that, Mr. Chairman, I conclude my report.
Thank you very much, Executive Director. All right, this time we're going to provide an opportunity for members of the public to comment on Port Authority matters. The public portion, which could be limited up to 30 minutes in total, provides an opportunity for members of the public to present their views directly to the board, but does not provide for a dialogue. Members of the public wishing to be discuss a specific item with the Port Authority staff are advised to contact our Public Affairs Department, and they'll be directed to the appropriate person. Speakers are asked to comply with a fixed time of about 3 minutes. Our first speaker we're going to hear from is Mayor Ravi Bala. How you doing, Mayor?
Doing all right. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good afternoon, Chairman O'Toole, Commissioners. It's great to see you all. My name is Ravi Bala. I'm the mayor of the city of Hoboken. And I want to make sure that at the outset, it's clear that I come here to you as a friend. There have been a lot of successes that the Port Authority should be proud of. We know them. LaGuardia is an international success, internationally acclaimed. Terminal A in Newark, Liberty, is something me and my family enjoy seeing. The Jersey theme and the big Rutgers signs and all the infrastructure. It's first class. And I love it personally and otherwise. In Hoboken, you guys did a wonderful job in February of repairing, doing major capital repairs in a 3-week time. And it's not just the repairs getting done on time, but it was the communication, the way that the Port Authority was able to coordinate with New Jersey Transit to get more buses, to get shuttles to Newport and Grove, to make sure that the ferry was running at a discounted rate, to make sure the public knew what was going on. I actually talked to constituents and asked them how things were going. They not only did not complain, but they were saying things were better. So that's a testament to what it looks like when the Port Authority dedicates focus, resource, and hard work. I've never seen that kind of an operation of a major project potential disruption go so smoothly. So I want to say on the record and very publicly, not in a letter or a call to the chairman, thank you. We're deeply grateful for that. There is room for improvement, and that's why I'm here, Mr. Chairman. I'm here to call for better and more reliable path service on off-peak and weekend hours. I feel like with the Path Forward project, what we just talked about, the opposite is happening, and we can do better. There is room for improvement. Hoboken residents currently are being underserved by the Path, and they are demanding better. The Path is not optional for my constituents. It is essential. It connects thousands of people every day to jobs, schools, medical appointments, and families. And the path just helps serve office workers. It supports shift workers, frontline essential workers, and countless people who don't work 9-to-5 jobs. And at the end of the day, this is also about priorities. The Path Forth Rehabilitation Project totals $430 million. And that might seem like a lot until you look at the Port Authority's overall capital budget for 2024, which was $9.3 billion, not million dollars, $1 billion, including $3.6 billion in capital spending. So we need to ask, is mass transit really a priority? Because when mass transit gets only 1/8 of your capital budget, to the public, it does not look like it is that kind of a priority. When I came here from Hoboken, I took the PATH train. I saw the Oculus, $4 billion as the double the original estimate. A major reason for that was because you imported Italian marble and custom steel from Europe for a shopping mall and a high concept architecture. We all love that, but at the end of the day, that didn't make the trains run faster. That didn't give us more frequent train service. So let me ask again, where is that commensurate investment in reliable, affordable mass transit for the people of Hoboken and Jersey City? I'm holding right here 5,000 petitions in my hand for residents calling for improvements to PATH service. And I just want, in conclusion, for the record, just ask a few questions directly and I request, not right now, but formal responses to these questions. Why is off-peak PATH service at historic lows? And when will it be restored? When you go on the Path Forward website, it says 2026 two-year project. We need, meaning not me, but we, the public, need a date that's projected on the website, that's projected through your communications team. A statement and a commitment as to when commuters can expect the resumption of improved service. Number two, what are the exact timelines and the section-by-section completion dates for Path Forward construction, and when will the new schedule be publicly available? Similar question. Number three, what is the cost of running just one additional weekend train on the Journal Square to 33rd line via Hoboken? Number four, your website states that there is no track work from Hoboken to the World Trade Center on weekends. No track work, maybe just station work. So why does that trip require 2 trains for 40 minutes? You gotta transfer at Grove. And finally, what is preventing weekend service between Hoboken and the World Trade Center from being restored? So in conclusion, Mr. Chairman, I respectfully submit that Hoboken deserves better, consistent, and more reliable PATH service. I do understand, I spoke to your staff yesterday, and I appreciate the outreach. We had a good discussion. I understand that maintenance and repair has to be done during those off-peak and weekend hours. And we might not get 5-minute service on the weekend and off-peak hours, but we can definitely do better than what we're doing now. And all I'm asking for is a little bit more focus towards getting to a better place and a little bit more transparency in terms of public communications with the website and other communications to the public as to what's happening and when it's happening. That would lower the temperature. That would generate more confidence in this entity with the public. Because right now, confidence is not as high as it can be. And I think collectively, by working together, we can all do better. So thank you for allowing me a few minutes to speak. I appreciate it.
Thank you, appreciate it. Can we keep the clock moving? We got 20 people going, so we're gonna have a hard and fast 3 minutes. Omar Ortiz, is Omar here? Armani Ramsey, Armani? come on up, please.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
How is everyone doing? My name is Armani Ramsey, for those of you who don't know me. I'm 20 years old, and I'm writing this message to bring attention to the Port Authority for their inability to render frequent weekend, midday, and evening service on the Newark to the World Trade Center line in 2025. This is yet another year that we are still dealing with the same 20-minute headways. Even after fares were increased to $3 back on January 12th, earlier this year. Congestion pricing, which went live on the 5th of January, is supposed to incentivize more people to utilize public transportation, which it has. And still, PATH service remains the same. No visible improvement whatsoever. I've even submitted the 2025 PATH passenger survey. I am a frequent PATH train rider, and let me tell you something about how unpleasant the weekend or midday experience is, weekdays after 10 a.m. going until 3 p.m. Every time I look at the countdown clock, you see 20 over 40, maybe 0 over 40, whatever the case may be, which is unacceptable. When in reality, as a community, as a region, we are the most dense region in the United States of America. PATH is supposed to be delivering 5 to 10 minute headways on the Newark to the World Trade Center line, and the pending $430 million capital improvement plan is the biggest excuse for poor headways. My experience getting into sardine-like train cars, e-bikes, strollers, you can't breathe, when there's sports fans everywhere. PATH should consider looking into future service increases and runtime adjustments moving in later this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Rachel Parenta? Rachel? Okay. Christopher? How you doing, Chris?
Good afternoon, and sorry the ladies are not here. They're covering at a resource fair, so I'm here, and since my meeting moved to next Thursday, thank
Tell
God.
them we said hello to both of them.
Huh?
Tell them we said hello. When you,
Yes, and also let her know that Ann Bonino's birthday was just passed. She's 75.
well, tell her happy birthday.
I will let her know that, because I know V Duty noted, I think she's watching it. So.
All right.
The other reason I'm here today, and I did hear what the Hoboken mayor's mentioning, but I'm glad he's mentioning about the PATH trains, but one piece I think you agree, we all agree, accessibility. If you're going to mention about the PATH trains, let's not forget about our seniors and people with disabilities. We use those trains. I'm actually glad that I got a chance to go on the PATH, and nice to see that the station is easy to get on and off safely. I do see the improvements. If we see a problem, we put it in, just like I do with MTA or the Long Island Railroad, Metro North, but everything we do. But how can we do that if we don't put it in? One thing I hope we can work with the Port Authority Police, because I am glad we are seeing a little better, and I will say a little. We need to work with the homeless. As I'm trying to, if I want to go to the Port Authority air train, just to use the Johns, there are a lot of homeless over there in Queens, blocking access. And we have to think of safety, the customers who are going in and out, because there are other elevators over there, because you have 3 in one end, 2 in one end. We have to think of room and space. And I like to Long Island Railroad is aware of this, but I think if we work together with Port Authority, MTA Police, NYPD, we can understand the homeless that should not be there. They should be somewhere safe. And I'm trying to continue that because, yes, they might have mental health issues and concerns, but we need to work together how we can help them. They shouldn't be suffering inside a terminal, not in a PATH trains, not anywhere. They should be in a safe place. As a person with a disability, it upsets me and hurts me to see them out there suffering. We need to work on something. And if we can get these safeties done, we'll be just fine. I do want to wish everyone happy Mother's Day, happy Father's Day, and happy Memorial Day. And July is ADA 35, Disability Pride Month's 10th-year anniversary. Big celebrations coming up. I hope you guys will be doing something as well, so we can always to join together as one. Thank you.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Kylie Embry? Kylie? Bathsheba Gross? Hope I'm saying that right. Jason Anthony?
Yes, the transit guru. Good afternoon, everybody. Jason Anthony, the transit guru. I was supposed to be at work today, but I decided to be here with all of you guys. I wonder if the mayor of Hoboken cared about its constituents. I wonder what he will think about New Yorkers like myself from the east side of the Hudson that have barely 0 accessible stations on the path. Let's put this simple. We have multiple subway lines that connect at 14th Street. For example, the 1, 2, 3 at 7th Avenue. We have the F, we have the M, and we have the L at 6th Avenue, right at the path. We have 6 elevators that the MTA installed right there. Explain to us, Mayor, in pure rice and beans, why is it that us New Yorkers are forced to go to 33rd Street to take the cycle path, like I call it, to get to your city, while us, we have to pay more for less? Meanwhile, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, the MTA, is doing more. Meanwhile, the New Jersey congressional delegation comprised of Josh Nimbyheimer and Mickey Sherrill blasted my own state by implementing congestion pricing. But guess what, folks? The federal government blasted this own agency by investing on Newark Terminal A. Meanwhile, your CFO, Libby McCarthy, doesn't even provide an explanation of why every month, in other words, every time that I go downstairs, I see fare evasion. And then meanwhile, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, better known as the MTA, tackles it. And every time that I see in their station, people get arrested and get a $100 summit. It's time that the Port Authority Police does something. That's all I have to say for this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. John Taranu? John, come on down.
Commissioner, thank you. Thank you.
John.
My name is John Taranu with Hudson County Complete Streets, and I'm here because of the path. With 5,000 riders having signed petitions asking for improvements to the path, we're asking for more trains on weekends and off-peak, and capital improvements to extend the network for the first time in over a century. It's such a vital system for our entire region. It's the network that connects New York to Hudson County to Essex County. And what we're hearing from our community is that it's not serving our needs. The investments that have been put in are good and are necessary, but we're seeing continued population growth in Hudson County and Essex County and in the New York area, and changed travel patterns where people are traveling more off-peak and traveling much more on the weekends. We're seeing now record levels in weekend rail travel. And what we're seeing is a system that's at the breaking point, especially in the last month. It has been a challenging month. There were major outages, including in rush hour and on weekends. And we're all asking the same questions. When will this path forward work complete? And when can riders expect to return, not to the service levels that were present 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but the service levels that we have seen in past decades when the population and ridership was lower, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, with older technology, without the capital work having been put in place, the trains are running more frequently and they're running faster. We're happy that these investments have come in. We're asking, where is that improved experience and that improved service? And want to understand, what will it take to get there? What is necessary for the path to be able to achieve these kinds of goals? And how can the community help to make them happen? Right now, I think we're hearing from our riders that what is happening is not adequate and the service levels simply need to be better. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Jesse Halpern.
Good afternoon, Chairman, everyone. My name is Jesse, and I am here in my personal capacity. Just like the talking heads on our nation's beloved news networks, who I am sure nobody here has any negative opinions about at all whatsoever, I am here to participate in our national pastime of both sidesing an issue. Sure, as you have heard about why we should improve path service, I am here to explain the downsides of doing so and the real dangers. Here is a fact for you. The PATH train is a train. And what happens when people ride the train? They drive fewer cars. Do you see the problem with this yet? Here, let me break it down for you. Benefits of cars. 1, road rage helps me take out my frustrations. 2, the interior of the car makes it so I don't have to hear the noise from other cars. 3, traffic means I spend less time at home with my so-called loved ones. And 4, reduced air quality means our lungs have the privilege to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. Now, here are the so-called benefits of trains. They take cars off the road, sure, but at what cost? Do you think I want a world where my children have it better and easier than I do? Do you think I want them to live in a world with safer streets and cleaner air? Absolutely not. This is America. We pride ourselves on making our children suffer as much as we had to. Back in my parents' day, it was walking to school in the snow, uphill, both ways, probably while dodging traffic. I plan to honor that heritage by driving my kids to school stuck in traffic both ways. And you can pry my auto insurance bills and traffic court summonses from my cold, dead hands. In the case of Newark Liberty Airport, do you think I want it to be easier for them to access the airport by public transit? They should do what I have to do today to access Terminal 1. As a resident of the state's second largest city, Jersey City, that is 3 trains, 1 bus, 3 transfers in total. The New Jersey Turnpike Authority recently received a notice from the Coast Guard that expanding the Turnpike's extension will not have any significant impact on the environment. And I agree. If you ignore the additional car noise, air pollution, tire dust, and other particulate matter, the Coast Guard's report is absolutely right. The Turnpike Authority is being bold by trying something that has not been tried before if you overlook the countless times throughout the last century. They are building 1 more lane. Why can't the Port Authority be innovative like the Turnpike Authority? Instead of running more PATH trains, why not build a new bridge over the Hudson? Why not turn the PATH system into a highway, I ask you? New York City recently announced plans for a busway on 34th Street like the one on 14th Street. Now sure, the data might show that buses are faster now on 14th Street, and sure, buses might be more efficient at transporting people, but that's one less area for me to have road rage. And if that's not infringing on my freedoms, then I don't know what is. Faster public transit in the middle of America's largest city, largest mega region, instead of encouraging people to drive. To quote a tweet on this very topic from my personal hero, New York City Councilwoman and pro-traffic advocate Vicky Palladino, yeah, this is insane. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Eric Allen Connor. Eric Allen Connor. Christopher Vasquez. Christopher? Alrighty, now we have a number of video and written statements. Can you just take them from the top? Ben Skaggs is the first one we have.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're just planning on running them in order, but yeah, I think they're just going to run them in order.
All right, great. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos and 1 written statement.
Just want to say that just how desperately Jersey City residents need more PATH trains on the weekends. I moved to Jersey City 7 years ago for ease of access to Manhattan, but because we love Jersey City, we want to put our roots down there. We lived downtown for 7 years now, and it's getting harder and harder to justify it on the weekends because we can't easily access the city. There's congestion pricing. If you want to drive, there's significant delays and track closures and 20-minute waits. Very, very crowded trains on the weekends. If you want to take the PATH, there's just really puts a damper on things and makes it difficult to enjoy everything Jersey City has to offer in proximity to New York City. So please add trains to the week.
My name is Jack McKee, and this message is for the board members of the Port Authority in regard to the PATH train. We are a world-class area without a world-class transportation system. There's no other way to put it. It was spectacular when it was created, and the idea of it is great, but it doesn't deliver the kind of experience that residents and visitors deserve. I regularly see visitors, usually French or German tourists, looking around like this, and it's embarrassing. And I say, "Hey, how's it going? Where are you from?" "We are from Paris." And you can see the look on their face, and I say, "I know." "Yes, we are a little surprised. It's like New York City, and this is very old." And I tell them that we agree. The money is there. That's the thing about the United States and the Port Authority and the American character. When we really want to get it done, we get it done. And I understand budget constraints are a real thing. I'm not pretending like they aren't. But this is a thing that is worth it. And it's very hard to just accept the thing that's necessary for economic development, environmental protection, and national pride, state pride, national pride. We just don't have the money for that because we have the money for a lot of pet projects in various places in the country. And truthfully, if you're appointed to the board of the Port Authority, that's what I expect you to fight for. I expect you to fight for projects that serve us. And I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing projects like the Newark Air Train, at astronomical cost. I mean, I won't even go into all the subway systems around the world, metro systems around the world that have been built underground for less than you're proposing the the monorail to be updated to. And I can't just sit here and say, well, they told me it cost $3 billion. Well, then something's wrong. If that costs $3 billion, something's wrong. I have worked as carpenter and painter, and if I told you that it's going to cost you $97,000 to redo the windows and doors and paint in one office, you would say something's wrong. No. So that's what I'm calling to say, and I'm trying to encourage you, but also something's wrong, and it's your job to fix it or resign. If you can't fix it, I understand if you don't want your hands, you don't want to be on a sinking ship, but either fix it or allow someone to come in that will.
Hi, my name is Christopher Cerrone. I am a musician, a composer, and a professor of music at the New School University in New York. I'm a resident of Jersey City. I live in Journal Square, and I just want to voice my concern about the infrequency of paths on the weekend, in particular that the schedule is so infrequent that the Journal Square 233rd line always runs through Hoboken on the weekend. And I just wanted to voice that as both a musician, professor, and also as a new parent who has to get home quickly to his son. The infrequency of the schedule for me and all the many working people who don't necessarily work 9 to 5 is really, really difficult and frustrating. I can't spend time with my new young son because I'm spending it going on the path to get back home. And I I think it's really not fair or reasonable for us residents of one of the richest cities in one of the richest countries in the world, in fact, the richest country in the world to ever exist, to not have a functioning system of public transportation. As a longtime resident of Switzerland formerly, I had the experience of what it's like when a country supports its public infrastructure, and I can say that it leads to a healthier public, a more engaged civic republic who aren't driving cars and so regularly. That will ease the congestion in our downtown area, and I cannot strongly enough advocate for both on weekends, more frequent service, and then also as a frequent traveler midday to both teach and work, the World Trade Center line running every 20 minutes is really, really frustrating. You know, just the idea that you're in a major metropolis and that at 2 p.m., a major commuter line into a major city is only running every 20 minutes can mean that I am late for a rehearsal, late for teaching, and lose money, lose income, and not be able to support my family. So hopefully this message gets through to the PATH board, and I would like to encourage you to increase service.
Hi, I'm a regular PATH rider, and I love the convenience when it's running frequently, but it's pretty frustrating to get around both Jersey City and to go between Jersey City and New York outside of rush hour, you know, especially on the weekends. You know, it only comes every 20 minutes, and those trains get packed. You're like sardines in there. It's really uncomfortable. There's clearly the demand for more regular service, more frequent service, so I don't know why it's not there. And even on a weekday, you know, if around noontime, let's say, you know, if I need to go between General Square and Grove Street or Newport or wherever, it can be really hard to schedule that, and ends up taking a lot of extra time when the trains only come every 20 minutes. And then it's really frustrating if you say, it's happened to me several times, you miss a train by a few seconds, and then you have to wait 20 minutes for the next train, you know. It means it takes a lot of time out of your day to go somewhere. You could have up to 40 extra minutes, you know, just waiting on trains in a round trip. So I really, really would love to see more frequent trains on the PATH. Thanks.
Does the PATH suck? Okay. Every Saturday night, every Sunday, I take the train from 14th or 33rd, and takes forever to show up. When it does show up, it stops in Hoboken. It's full of people, and it stops in Hoboken. Full of people. Packed. And there are bicycles. There are always massive delivery bikes in the middle of the train, taking up like 2, 3, 4 people's worth of space, with delivery drivers acting like their bike doesn't interfere with our life. It sucks. It sucks. We need more trains, and we need this to not stop with this stop in Hudson nonsense. Why are we always stopping in Hoboken? Sorry, stop in Hoboken. Why is it always stopping in Hoboken? We need more trains from 33rd to Journal Square, 33rd to Newark. Oh, and just last week, the train was delayed, then it goes, stop in Newport. We're just going to stop in Newport. Sorry, good luck walking home, people. So, more trains, higher quality, better laws about bicycles and trains.
Hi, my name is Trevor Bozick, and I'm a resident of Jersey City. I'm recording this message to urge the Port Authority Commissioners to take action to improve PATH train service, especially on weekends. The PATH was developed to make life easier for New Jersey residents who rely on access to New York City. Our region functions because of how interconnected New York and New Jersey are. A seamless, reliable transit system shouldn't be a luxury, it should be a basic expectation. But weekend service fails us. As a Jersey City resident, just trying to get into the city on a Saturday and a Sunday requires an incredible amount of planning. You check schedules, coordinate transfers, build in buffers, and even then you show up and the train isn't running on time. You're stuck waiting for 20 and 30 minutes for delayed off-peak train. It's just not acceptable. There are thousands of us moving between New Jersey and New York every weekend for work, for family, for cultural events, for our daily lives, and this isn't optional travel, it's essential. But instead of feeling connected to the city, we feel cut off because something that should take 10 minutes takes an hour, and we're forced to build our entire lives around an unreliable system. I'm asking you, please provide more regular weekend service. Give us a system that matches the reality of how people live and move across this region. We live here because we're close to New York City. We pay to be close to New York, but we don't get the benefit of trains when they don't run. I urge you to step into our shoes, to really see what it's like to try and plan your life around this system. It's infuriating, and it needs to change. Thank you.
Everybody, my name is Matty Bucky's Highland. I'm a Long Island resident and an advocate for people with developmental disabilities. And happy May, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I would first like to thank the Port Authority and its chairman, Mr. O'Toole, for giving me the goodie bag. And thank you for signing autographs. While I wish I could be with you today, I know that next month, June 26th, I'll be in Jersey City to attend the Port Authority board meeting, as well as July 24th and September 25th. So I hope everything will be doing well, and thank you for what you're all doing in that. So with that, everybody, please have a great day and have a great Memorial Day weekend. And I turn back over to the chairman, Mr. Kevin J. O'Toole.
We love him. He's the best. He's such a good person. All right, Jim, is that all the video and written statements?
Yeah, we had just the one written statement from Anthony Cesario on disciplinary and grievance processes for frontline employees. That statement was shared with the board and will be filed with the transcripts of the
That's all the speakers we have? Great. There being no further business, move to adjourn. So moved. Second? Second. Okay, see everybody in June. Yep. Have a Memorial Day.
Everybody.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks. You got it. close that.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. We'll get started with the Q&A. We have two folks in the room that we'll start with. That's Arvelis Bonilla Ramos with Bloomberg.
Oh, sure. Thank you. I'm sorry, this question is for Sarah. I was just wondering, you know, the FAA has been taking some steps to address the ATC tech problems at the Philly TradeCon. How confident are we, or how y'all, that those steps will be effective? And will that sort of like push Newark to, you know, take additional steps to sort of like, you know, consider those risks of technology and what those outages sort of like disrupt, or could sort of like disrupt later operations during the summer, during the peak summer traveling time? Yeah.
Sure. So in terms of the efforts that the FAA is making to improve the technology and the staffing across their system, the Port Authority is fully aligned with what the measures that they are taking, and we remain excited to continue to support them in those efforts. In terms of Newark specifically and the efforts to get back to full capacity, right now what we know is that the FAA has worked with the airlines and the Port Authority to take a safe, measured approach to reduce operations in two tranches. The first one now through June 15th, and the second one from June 15th through October 25th. Those two dates will allow FAA time to make investments and to bring staffing up to levels, and we will be engaging with them to understand what we can expect post-October 25th.
So these cutting flights and these, you know, tech sort of like upgrades that FAA is doing, and also what's happening in Newark with the hour rate sort of downgrade, will these alleviate? What does it mean? Does this mean for the summer when people are traveling, and how this is going to ensure air traffic and passenger flow during those times?
Yep, so Newark obviously has experienced multiple delays, multiple cancellations a day. These efforts that were taken by the FAA and the airlines were taken with an intention to safely reduce operations on a day-by-day basis, which should have a positive impact and reduce the number of unplanned cancellations and reduce the amount of delay.
So, but are we worried that this is going to sort of impact at all, or are we just like really sure that this will like is the next best step?
The analysis that was done was based on modeling of what capabilities exist with the existing staffing and the technology, and so that is the intention, is to reduce that impact.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Next question is Ramsey Khalife with WNYC and Gotham.
Appreciate it. Also a question for Sarah, but I have a second question. Not sure who's targeted for, so I'll just ask
Sure,
you first.
no problem.
There's still delays every day at Newark.
Mhm.
You look at average delay times, at least at the FAA advisories, around 75 minutes today. It kind of hovers around that number, particularly because, you know, I know the Port Authority and the FAA is addressing the tech, and that's more long-term, but there's also ongoing roadway construction. Can you just speak to the status of that project, and how did that factor into that reduction timeline that was provided both today and specifically on 8/20?
Sure. So just correction, assume you mean runway construction. Yes. So the Port Authority has been planning this runway for rehabilitation for well over a 2-year period. In preparation for the runway rehabilitation, we did ask the airlines in cooperation with the FAA to reduce their schedules. The construction project has occurred as planned and is on or will be delivered on or before schedule. And we are working closely with the FAA to determine the benefit of delivering the program early to see if we can get the capacity maximized with a return before June 15th.
And that deadline for that construction is a 2-year period. When was that originally supposed to finish up?
The construction itself, the closure, the whole project, the runway project is an entire year-long project. It started in March 2025 and will not complete until early 2026. But there is a 60-day closure that was planned to allow for the maximum amount of paving to be done in the summer, early summer months. And so that started April 15th and will conclude June 15th.
Okay, my second question is more general. I've been trying to find this answer, but I thought I'd ask the Port Authority.
Airports.
Specific to the Kautokemak Mexican Navy tall ship that collided or struck the Brooklyn Bridge. There are, I believe they're called harbor pilots. I was just trying to clarify if anybody could explain if harbor pilots in the New York and New Jersey harbors are employees of the Port Authority, or are they employed by another entity? Does anybody have an answer for that?
I think the answer is no, but we're going to have Beth Ann Rooney from Ports call you back directly and answer that specifically. Okay?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Move to our virtual questions. First one is Colleen Wilson with the record. Colleen?
Thank you. First question is for Sarah about the Newark Airport. Given the extreme consequences and business consequences that the issues with the air traffic controllers and the TRACONs and the technology upgrades and needs, given how that is having an effect on the Port Authority and Newark Airport's, business opportunities, basically, and business profits, does the Port Authority have any ability to have any oversight over the FAA in this matter? I'm just wondering, I guess, what kind of recourse does the Port Authority have to kind of hold the FAA's feet to the fire to make sure that they are doing the proper, infrastructure upgrades, that they have the proper staffing, that they have, that they're meeting and doing what they say that they're supposed to be doing?
Thanks for the question, Colleen. The FAA is the regulatory body that oversees aviation activity across the United States, and so the Port Authority does not have jurisdiction at all over the FAA. However, we are a partner with the FAA, and the measurements that have been taken by the FAA to safely return Newark in a measured manner to address this emergent issue on their part, we fully support, and we remain fully we remain committed to work with them to reestablish full capacity at Newark.
Thank you. Sure. My second question is about PATH. Want to get a response to obviously all the questions and concerns that were posed, but specifically Mayor Bala from Hoboken wanted to have deadlines set for increasing PATH service on off-peak and weekends. And I just want to hear from the Port Authority whether or not they plan to do that and obviously respond to his questions for those deadlines or timelines.
So I believe the deadline in terms of the Path Forward program was communicated as ending in April of 2026, but we will confirm that. We're on schedule to deliver that. The other questions we'll look into specifically, but in terms of the main question of when we'll be done with Path Forward, it's April of 26.
Colleen, that was Jim Heitman. Jim Heitman speaking.
Sorry, I think my understanding of his questions weren't so much about Path Forward. I think they were more hoping that the Port Authority would provide a specific timeline when they would expand the off-peak and weekend. And I guess, will the Port Authority, provide that sort of information or a commitment to that?
Yes, is the answer. We do a lot of community outreach, so we've been out talking about when we do a specific amount of construction on a particular line, how that service will be impacted, and then once we get back, when and how it will be restored. In terms of the broader question about increased service on the weekends and overnight, that has more to do with required maintenance windows than it does with our ability to increase those services. We're looking into it, we're studying it, we're looking to take some more dramatic steps to see how and we can do that, but we're in the middle of that analysis.
Thank you.
Next question is Larry Higgs with NJ Advanced Media.
Thanks. And the first question I have is for Sarah about Newark Airport. It's a bifurcated question. What are the financial effects of the FAA's flight reductions on the authority's revenue stream from aviation? And how will the authority compensate businesses in the airport, specifically retailers, for the loss of business and foot traffic?
Thanks for the question, Larry. So the impact on the revenue to the Port Authority is still being evaluated. The customers, our revenue for the aircraft operations is based on the number of customers and the amount of weight the aircraft carry. Airlines are making determinations about how they are going to achieve the reductions that are required by the FAA, and that will, as time goes on, we will be able to understand what the potential impact is. And at that point, we have not considered what would occur with the other business partners on the airport, but we are cognizant of making sure that we stay close to the issue and make sure that we keep everybody informed in terms of impacts and what processes may change moving forward.
Sure.
Thanks.
Larry, this is Rick. I just reported this at our meeting, and I think it's important to put this in context. April of this year was the third busiest April that the Port Authority has ever had. So the big picture is that people are traveling. Our airports are enormously busy. It is still a problem that Newark is down in the single-digit percentages. But the big picture is that people are traveling. Our volumes are very strong. But as you've heard repeatedly from Sarah, there's a big focus on working with the FAA on restoring flight levels at Newark.
Thanks. And a follow-up question. So how is this going to impact travelers? How are you going to handle this increasing volume, or are people going to shift to other airports?
So, Larry, I think the best impact that will come out of the FAA's order that was issued on May 20th, confirming the reductions, is that we should stop seeing the last-minute cancellations due to FAA staffing challenges, and that should allow people to best plan for what they need to do. I will just note that in terms of flying in and out of Newark, the operation remains very safe, and the airlines, the Port Authority, and the FAA are committed to ensuring we provide reliable service at Newark through the summer.
Next question is Peter Gill with Newsnight.
Hi, thanks. I have a couple questions just for Sarah, I think, as well. First, I was wondering, given the plan to reduce operations at Newark, is there any plan to increase operations at other area airports like LaGuardia and JFK? And if so, or if not, why not?
So Kennedy and LaGuardia are what's known as Level 3 slot-controlled airports, meaning that the airport's capacity is dictated by a certain number of operations per hour, and the slots are allocated in a collective process by the FAA. So it's not likely that additional activity will occur at those airports as a result of the Newark issue, but what may happen is larger aircraft across our enterprise carrying more passengers with the reduced number of flights impacting Newark.
Okay, thanks. And the other question I had was, you mentioned in your presentation earlier that the air traffic control at Newark was shifted from being based on Long Island at Westbury to Philadelphia, and the FAA has said that the failure in the communications line was the line between Westbury and Philadelphia, because rather than creating a line from Newark to Philadelphia directly, it went from Newark to Long Island to Philadelphia. And I wanted to ask if you think it was, in hindsight, a good idea to shift the responsibility over to Philadelphia from Long Island.
So we absolutely know that the FAA now has made the decision as of July 2024 to relocate the controllers for Newark from Long Island to Philadelphia. That decision was made unilaterally by the FAA, and the Port Authority was not given opportunity to opine on that. And so at this point, we remain ready to support the FAA in safely restoring full capacity at Newark with required technology upgrades and staffing improvements.
Last question is John Beers with AFP.
Tom, is that it?
John, we unmuted you. Can you hear us? All right, John, you can submit your question to us after this. We're happy to try to answer it. That concludes the Q&A. Thank you, everyone.
You get Beth and the call. Yes. All right. Great. Sarah, well done.